What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
On Good Morning Britain, a 100-year-old World War II veteran, Alec Pinstone, relayed that he felt that he and his brethren who laid down their lives in the trenches fighting against World War II Germany died and sacrificed for nothing, as the country that they fought for, the ideas, and the freedoms they fought for, no longer existed.
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends that gave their lives for what? A country of today. No, I'm sorry, the sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now. What we fought for, downside worse than what it was when I fought for it.
The hosts go on to try to comfort Mr. Pinstone, even offer him some kind of memorial CD or DVD with music from his era on it. But the entire clip is rather odd.
To make it the country that you fought for, you absolutely fought
that
for,
is it.
and we will do. We want to.
I'm so wonderful to know there are people like you that spread the word around.
We will
the
do.
Younger generation.
There's a strange juxtaposition going on here, where you would feel that people who are actually grateful for the greatest generation would take the time to actually hear what one had to say. Perhaps it was because they were running out of time. Maybe it was at the end of a segment or at the end of an hour. But they're very much trying to hurry him on, and in some places talking over him. I would have been very interested to hear what a man who was literally 100 years old had to say. No, it's not prime television. Yes, it's a little difficult to understand what he's saying, but he's 100 years old. Even if I disagree with every single thing that he said, I would want to know what it is he believed. I want to hear his words before he passed on. I want to derive something from his experience. But instead, just as our culture is obsessed with having to constantly be on the move and get from one thing to the next, just to get that next segment, to get that next hit, these hosts speed through the segment and probably move on to the latest rage bait right after it. It almost feels as if they're checking the box. They're supposed to talk about World War II. It's Veterans Day coming up, right? So obviously we gotta have something about it. And that brings me to what I want to talk about in this video. There's not going to be a whole lot of editing here. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of editing magic and quick frame jokes to cartoons and whatnot, because I want to try to bring out maybe 20 reasons why Alec Pinstone would be upset with the world that we have today. 20 reasons why we've let him down. 20 reasons why we failed the greatest generation and failed to truly stand up against tyranny. Because what is the purpose of a memorial? What is the purpose of remembering those who came before us and those who died? Well, there's two reasons. One, because it makes us human. To take the time to remember people who have passed on makes us human. It doesn't do anything for them. They're gone. But the fact that we pause to remember a family member, or we pause to remember our veterans, the people who gave us our country, helps us retain a bit of humanity. And second, well, it's supposed to help us learn that the things they fought and died for had a purpose. There was a goal. There was a reason that they fought and died. There was a reason that their lives were given so that we can be free. So unless we take the time to slow down, put down our hot dogs and barbecue, and actually try to remember that, to memorialize that, we will lose our humanity and fail to understand the past. And even worse, we will repeat it. So this Veterans Day, I want to bring to you maybe 20 reasons why Alec Pinstone would be upset with what the West has become today. 1. Freedom has turned to apathy. We can do anything we want, and as a result, most of what we do is partake in endless leisure and comfort. We don't take the time to help our fellow man. We don't take the time to start charities or work in charities. We just idly give away our money to the government and expect the government to take care of it all for us. 2. Instead of having truly free countries, we've given more and more power to the government and more power to institutions in general to restrict our speech in the name of safety and tolerance. And while oftentimes we're well-meaning, the horrible part about this is the worst people possible will always come along and find the way to help us define what words we can say and can't. 3. This is happening in the UK especially, but it's also happening in the United States. In the UK, flying the flag of the Union Jacks is considered racist. And in the United States, protests always seem to have foreign flags? What's up with that? If we're protesting in America, why do I constantly see flags of other countries and other ideologies? It's because pride in our country has been demeaned, as we no longer know why we should even honor the country in the first place. 4. In the UK, and I believe across the European Union, more and more police are used to track down people who are saying things on social media instead of actually stopping crime. 5. Our families, which used to be the fundamental unit of institutions and the driving force of politics, have been splintered, broken apart, and ultimately fractured. 6. All across the news and social media, charlatans lie with reckless abandon, and people just gobble it up. Blind trust in people that don't deserve it is now seemingly the cause du jour. 7. Men are constantly berated in the culture for having masculine ideals of wanting to protect, guide, or achieve. Meanwhile, women are praised for having careers, getting that 9-to-5 job, climbing the ladder, and completely ignoring the prospect of having any kind of family or children whatsoever. 8. Faith, religion, moral compass. Those things have been cast aside and treated as useless relics. 9. Schools teach children to despise their own history, to despise the countries they were born in, to be ashamed of their heritage. 10. More and more children are raised by the internet or by gangs in the street, and less by fathers. Meanwhile, the idea of an actual hero, someone to look up to that's in our culture or in our military, just gone. 11. More and more people have taken their freedom to mean entitlement instead of responsibility. Now they feel they're owed things instead of understanding that they have a duty to their family, to their neighborhood, and to their country. 12. Even though I think this one is finally on the downturn, for the past 10 to 20 years, people have feared saying what they truly think, fearing being canceled for something they said online or something they said at the water cooler at work. Even the gesture that Alec Pinstone makes towards the young woman in the video that I played, where he takes her hand and he kisses it. That, in many places across the West, would not be okay. Sure, mentally we make a carve out for this man. He's 100 years old. It's okay if he kisses a young lady on the hand. But nowadays, many young women would consider that to be rude instead of reverent or appreciative. 13. What used to be clear moral right and wrong has now been replaced by a messy collage of moral relativism. The idea that there could possibly be an absolute right and wrong is just not allowed. 14. Hollywood and pop culture icons have successfully devolved the culture into vulgarity. And the idea of decency, even though I believe it is now on the rise, for the past 20 or 30 years, if not even more than that, has been cast aside and thought of as just foolishness. 15. This definitely started back with the Vietnam War, but the sacrifices of our men and women in service has just been forgotten. Some people don't take the time to understand the horrors of war and the sacrifice it takes for a young man to go overseas and to lose all his comrades and to come back and not be appreciated by the country that sent them there in the first place. And even worse, many of those people are written off as racists or undesirables, not fit for our current enlightened civilization. 16. More and more, our leaders and politicians are just demagogues in one form or another. They get up on their podiums, they rant their talking points, but they fail to actually lead people. They fail to be honest, be real, and try to convince or persuade one side or the other of what they believe. Now it's just about coalition building, grabbing as many people as you can under one roof, and swiping the other guys off the table. 17. What's defined as freedom now is just an excuse for degeneracy. Many of the things that we idolize as freedoms are now the ability to do evil. We have the freedom to eliminate our offspring. We have the freedom to partake in degenerate sexual behavior. We have the freedom to limit our neighbors' freedoms just so we can feel better about ourselves. 18. Much of our working class has been replaced by foreign labor. 19. Many of those in my current generation and the ones after it, I'm a millennial, have confused the idea of pleasure and experience for things that are actually meaningful. Instead of taking the time to work hard and to try to invest in things that are right and good, now we just want something that either makes a lot of money or spends a lot of the money that we do have. And lastly, for number 20, I'd say the saddest thing of all is that the freedoms that the previous generations fought for required a people that were virtuous, required a people that understood duty and responsibility. But now we've just been so inundated with consumerism and the desire to have comfort in things that we've just thrown it all away. Instead of using the hand of government as a last resort, now instead of going to church or giving to charities, we expect the government to do everything for us. We expect someone else to take care of our problems. We expect the politicians to take care of our problems. We expect whatever man we elect to be our salvation, to be our savior, to ride in on a horse and to conquer our enemies. The saddest thing about all of this is that what was supposed to help our people be moral, what was supposed to help us maintain a responsibility, were these memorials. Was the idea that we have something to look to. The idea that there was a statue or a literal memorial erected somewhere that we will look to and say, hey, what was that for? Hey, what did they fight for? And a father would perhaps take a young man by the hand and explain to him what those people died for, and explain that sacrifice. On days of memorial like Veterans Day, a teacher would get in front of the class and perhaps have a veteran come up and explain exactly what was fought for. Perhaps the head of a family would have his family sit around the dinner table and he would maybe lead them in prayer and talk about the sacrifices of those that came before us. But we don't do that anymore. Now, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, President's Day, those are just excuses to go have a cookout, to get 15% off at Amazon, or go to the park and enjoy the sunshine, which all those things are great. None of those things are bad, but they are bad when they replace what's important. And too often in our countries in the West, we've replaced what's important with what's convenient, what's fun, what's leisure-like, and what's frankly just emptiness. Alec Pinstone here feels that his brethren fought and died for no reason. And in some ways, he's correct. Yes, they defeated tyranny, a World War II Germany, but we merely substituted one tyranny for another. We've thrown away the tyrant and substituted a tyranny of self. We're addicted to self. We're addicted to things. And the engine that has given us those things in the first place, duty, responsibility, virtue, are more and more tossed to the side. This Veterans Day, let's actually remember what Alec Pinstone fought for, and let's try to take small steps in our lives to do good. Take your family to church. Give to charity. Actually work in your community and give back. Invest in the future. Invest in your children. Those are the things that are meaningful, and those are the duties that actually help build the country. Not relying on some politician to just fix everything for us. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Normally I do cultural content like this, where I try to evoke some kind of moral meaning from some current event. Or even sometimes I'll just sit down and try to explain my thoughts on a popular issue. But what do you think? Have we as a country, as the West, forgotten where we came from? Have we learned to resent the people that came before us and resent the values that has given us the prosperity we now have? Or perhaps show me a few examples of how you decide to either celebrate or memorialize this Veterans Day. But either way, if you like this video, go check out this other one where I talked about how schools and culture has completely forgotten the truth about our founders and Thomas Jefferson and how they absolutely detested slavery. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comment section down below your compliments or criticisms, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!